Hi guys, I'm going to show you hopefully how to change one of these clutch master cylinders for Vauxhall Vivaro van. The issue that I'm getting is, I don't know if you can hear this noise, but every time I push the clutch down, I get this clunking sound. So, did a little bit of research online, and I spoke to a couple of car garages, and they all suggest changing this master cylinder first of all. This cost me about 22 quid off eBay, so pretty cheap, and I've got the trusty Haynes manual. So hopefully, I'm by no means any mechanic, but I didn't see any other tutorials online, so I thought I'd post one. So hopefully we can get this changed reasonably easily. There we go. So we're gonna have to remove this panel, I think, first for access. Obviously, this is your clutch pedal here, and you can see the master cylinder under there. That's the badge of that. Yeah, trying to get this pipe off, and it's an absolute pain in the ass. It's just this sort of like bayonet connection, so I mean it's obviously going to come off at some point. It's not clamped on with anything. Okay, got it off. It was a bit of a bastard, excuse my French, but I used these, and in the end what I had to just basically grab it and twist it off. I was a bit scared I was going to rupture the pipe, but it seems pretty robust, and well, it hasn't ruptured. One thing I would say though is this stuff came out pretty quick, as you can see, and it went everywhere. It's still dripping now. That clamp that I've got is pretty poor. And then the next stage is to remove this end. No, you got to take this off, and then you can disconnect this end. Okay, this was a lot easier than I thought. Let's get some light in it first of all. I've twisted it. I've dropped it out of this portion here. I'll just pull it down. So you can see. There we go. That's what it was sat in. This bit up here, I didn't really need to get on these little sort of peg things, clip things. I literally just prized it back like that and it popped off. And so actually the removal was reasonably easy. One thing I would mention is this: I found this little grommet type thing on the floor, which has obviously come out from somewhere. I think it's come out from the pressure pipe, which is this pipe here. This goes into the bottom of the master cylinder. I think that's from the top there. Okay, so it went in reasonably easy. You can get your hand in behind here and get your bottom 3 fingers on it, and give it a good twist. So that wasn't locking it into this retaining ring thing here wasn't too hard. I would suggest it's easier to slot it up into its retaining ring, then locate the top, and then twist it and lock it in, because once that's twisted in, that won't move at all. You've not got any play at all. What I've got to do now is just connect the pressure pipe. Again, not forgetting this rubber grommet which I found on the floor on the removal. Right, so that pipe's on. That was really easily. That went on really easily. Literally, I didn't have to remove this retaining ring thing. I just put the grommet on the top and pushed it in, and it just clicked into place. So that was easy. Now we're moving on to this pain in the ass. Okay, and that's on as well. Actually, went on really easily as well. I don't know whether it's because it was already lubed up a bit with all the fluid that's around and on the pipe now. Getting the top of that in was easy. Getting it off was a bit of a nose, but just I think the main thing is this one. Don't be scared. That's quite a robust pipe. Well, we'll find out if it starts leaking, but that was quite a robust pipe. I just got on it with a pair of plumber's grips and wrenched it off. So I'm going to bleed the system now. Okay, so as you can see, I've had a bit of a leak incident. Basically, I started bleeding the clutch. All was going well. Started getting some resistance behind the clutch pedal, and next minute the bottom of the master cylinder started pissing out. So I took it apart. It could only be this little rubber grommet thing, which I spoke to you about briefly. It does go on here, but what I'd done, I just slotted it on top, and actually there's on this plastic bit there's a ridge that it needs to slip onto. and now it doesn't come off. Right guys, it's been a few days now. I've been driving the van around. The clutch is operating perfectly. We managed to bleed it. I managed to sort that little rubber grommet out. I've left the access panel off to the master cylinder just so I can see if anything starts leaking out in the meantime. But we've had no issues, so I'm going to refit that panel, and I'm going to quickly just show you how I bled the clutch. Okay, so if you refer to the trusty Haynes manual, what it will tell us to do is remove the airbox, which is this here, and the bracket which holds it on, which is this metal bracket here, which goes all the way back and attaches to the bulkhead back there in two places. We've also obviously got to take out the associated pipes, which is this. This has to come off. This pipe has to come off. This pipe here has to come off, and also this is attached to this mounting. But to be honest, there was no benefit for taking all that off, really. What I found a lot easier was to get underneath. I'll show you now. First of all, taking this tray off underneath, and then you can see the bleed nipple quite obviously there. It was tucked around the corner a little bit, but I just pulled it where I needed it to be, because this union here, this plastic union, I can't really point to it very well. I'll show you. This plastic union here swivels, and the pipeline on the other end of it there, that rubber pipeline is obviously flexible. The only part you want to be careful of is the metal pipe coming out at the top of this plastic union, this right angle plastic union there, which I managed to deform a little bit by mistake, but that wasn't pulling this into place. That was cracking that bleed nipple there. I had to take off the rubberized end pipe fitting, that silver one that you can see shining in the light. I had to take that off, and I had to disconnect this union here coming out the bell housing, and I had to take all that, which I'll show you in the photograph. And I had to get that in the vise and crack the bleed nipple that way, then refit it, and then bleed from there. So this is the system that I used. This is a one-man bleed kit. As you can see everything there. This is my spare wheel. You want 20 psi in there, or maximum of 30 can be the case for some vehicles. First of all, fill that with brake fluid. Tighten this down nicely. Get this on here with the relevant fitting. Then come to this line here, attach that to your spare wheel. That's already got 20 psi in the spare wheel. Lock it off. That 20 psi goes straight to the canister and pressurizes it. Now we've got pressure into here. Then get underneath, get on the bleed nipple. What I did was I depressed the clutch was depressed because there was no pressure behind it to force it upwards, so leave that depressed. That'll open the master cylinder anyway, and then get underneath the vehicle and crack the bleed nipple. All the air will come out pretty quick. Pump the clutch a couple of times nice and slowly. So once you've just got a nice trickle of fluid coming out, lock the bleed nipple off. The clutch operation now, lovely, look, nice bit of resistance there, pops up on its own as you can see, and most importantly, if you can listen, no more clicking, no more clunking. So we've solved the issue. It was the master cylinder. As I say guys, that's the way I did it. It worked for me. Put some comments in if you want. I'm no expert. I'm literally learning as I go. If you know another way, if you think what I've done is crap, let me know. Always happy to hear from you all. Cheers.